The air in the Delta Gamma sorority house was thick with the cloying scent of cheap perfume and unspoken tension. "All right, Ashley, which one smells better for my hinge date?" My roommate, Brittany, chirped, thrusting 2 bottles of designer fragrance under my nose. She was buzzing, practically vibrating with excitement for her first in-person meeting with Chad, her latest online crush. I was about to offer some sensible advice, maybe just a subtle spritz on the wrists, when a translucent blue screen shimmered into existence before my eyes, displaying a cascade of glowing comments. OMG, this is where the drama starts for our poor heroine, isn't it? Yep, right here. Nice girl tries to help, gets royally screwed. Then the rebirth and revenge arc kicks in, obviously. My stomach lurched. Was I the heroine? The comments kept scrolling, chilling me to the bone. Seriously, getting involved in someone else's karma is just asking for it. This protagonist is a real dummy. No brains, just a punching bag. Called it. Another predictable plot. So bored. Images flashed in my mind, fragmented, disturbing. Brittany, pushing me from a 5th-story window. My body, lifeless on the pavement. The university, covering it all up, granting her and our other roommate scholarships to grad school to keep them quiet. A wave of nausea washed over me. I wasn't reborn yet, I was being spoiled. Just moments ago, I'd been walking into our sorority house, a normal Thursday afternoon. Now, I knew. Brittany was about to spray perfume in there for Chad. And I was supposed to intervene, only to be thrown to my death. All because she'd blame me for her date's failure. "Brittany, wait!" I exclaimed, my voice a strangled whisper. She had already spritzed my palms with both scents and, without waiting for my opinion, declared, "This one's better." Then, with a sly grin, she lifted her skirt. "No, you can't." I scrambled to my feet, but it was too late. She doused herself. The cloying sweetness mingled with a distinctly unpleasant, musky odor. The comments flashed again. "Girl, just let her do it. Survival of the fittest. Don't warn her. Save yourself." My head reeled. Brittany, my seemingly sweet, if a little ditzy, roommate, capable of such malice. I remembered her past flings, her constant need for attention. But murder. The thought was absurd, yet the ghostly comments were so vivid. "Hey, Brit," I managed, feigning a sudden realization. "It's my mom's birthday. Totally forgot. Gotta bounce." Brittany just shrugged, still admiring her freshly scented nether regions. "Okay, CYA." As I grabbed my purse and dashed out, I heard her cackling behind me, followed by a series of aggressive sprays. The sorority house, usually a haven of floral air fresheners, now reeked of a bizarre mix of cheap perfume and something distinctly UN fresh. I took a deep breath of the humid southern air as soon as I was outside. Maybe living off campus wouldn't be so bad after all. My house was only a short drive away. My mom was surprised to see me, a wide smile spreading across her face. My heart ached. The visions from the comments, my parents, devastated, burying their only daughter, their lives shattered. This was my chance to change that. "I've decided, Mom," I said, a newfound resolve in my voice. "I'll apply to study abroad. I'll start preparing right away." My mom's face lit up. "Oh, honey, that's wonderful. I'll tell your dad." Going abroad was something they'd always wanted for me, but I'd resisted, citing my mom's delicate health. Now, it was clear. Life was precious, and I wasn't going to let Brittany ruin mine. The digital dirt and the disgusting discovery. A few days later, safely ensconced at home and processing the spoilers, I dared to check the floating comments again. Mercifully, no more prophesies of my demise. But then, a new set of exclamation points flooded the screen. OMG, Brittany's such a conniving little witch. She actually stole our girl's clothes for her date. A dress, okay, but her panties. Gross. No way. And she's telling Chad those are the heroine's sexy undies. This is next level disgusting. A fresh wave of nausea hit me. Brittany was not just ditzy, she was a certified psycho. I checked my closet. Most of my clothes were still there, thankfully. Nothing expensive, but the thought of her wearing my underwear. I mentally declared anything she'd touched contaminated. My phone buzzed. It was Brittany, blowing up our sorority group chat. Brittany, OMG girls, my hinge date loved me. He said I smelled so naturally good. Lol. Brittany, guess spraying myself was the best idea ever. The other girls, clueless to the horror show unfolding in my virtual future, offered enthusiastic congratulations. Then, a direct message from Brittany. Brittany, where are you? Why aren't you in the house? When are you coming back? Me, I took a few days off. Not coming back anytime soon. Brittany, seriously? What am I supposed to do? Brittany, you're not here, so who's gonna treat Chad and me to dinner? Just Venmo me some cash, we'll go ourselves. My jaw dropped. Had she always been this brazen? I'd occasionally bought the girls coffee or a pizza, but this was a whole new level of entitlement. My fingers flew across the keyboard. Me, go get a job, you entitled leech. I'm not your ATM. Then, with a furious thumb, I blocked her. Within seconds, she was back in the group chat, ranting. Brittany, what is your problem, Ashley? Are you jealous I have a boyfriend? Brittany, your family's rich, what's one dinner? No wonder you can't find a guy, you're so cheap. At Ashley, I know you see this, don't ignore me. I didn't respond. Instead, I left the group chat entirely. The world went silent. Blissfully so. I thought I was safe, but the comments reappeared, more ominous than before. Wait, the heroine didn't warn her. Is she reborn already? This protagonist is actually smart, for once. A little more interesting. Newbies, she's already reborn and avoiding the villain. But even a smart heroine can't escape the villainess's calculated slander. My heart sank. What did they mean? I was about to text my other roommates, checking if anything weird was happening at the house, when the grim images from the spoilers flashed again. My roommates, quiet, complicit, after being offered those scholarships. They'd seen Brittany push me. The comments were my lifeline. Without them, I'd be walking into a trap. My phone rang. It was Dean Wallace, the head of student affairs, a man known for his smarmy demeanor. He wanted me back at the sorority house. Now, the setup and the showdown. The moment I stepped into the sorority house, I felt the eyes on me. Whispers followed me like a shadow. That's her. Can't believe it. Looks innocent, but she's clearly a slut. A few girls even shied away, as if I carried a contagious disease. I pushed open the door to our suite. Brittany was there, a theatrical sob fest unfolding on her bed, Dean Wallace hovering solicitously beside her, along with my other two roommates, Chloe and Taylor. The moment she saw me, Brittany's wails intensified. I'm always so careful, Dean Wallace, she choked out between sobs. I don't even have a boyfriend. How could I have gotten this? She paused for dramatic effect, then pointed a trembling finger at me. I wore Ashley's clothes. She must have given it to me. You have to help me, Dean. If my parents find out, they'll kill me. Before I could even open my mouth, Dean Wallace rounded on me, his face a mask of stern disapproval. Ashley Miller. Is this true? Not only are you engaging in promiscuous behavior, but you're infecting other students. You are an utter disgrace to Delta Gamma, to this university. I usually dressed well, maybe a bit flashy, thanks to my parents' generous allowance. Brittany, on the other hand, cultivated an image of virginal purity, a white lotus as the comments had called her. Naturally, the crowd of onlookers, drawn by Brittany's theatrics, started murmuring. Ashley always looked like a party girl. Not surprised she'd have something. Disgusting. You get yourself sick, fine, but don't spread it. Poor Brittany. If I were her, I'd kill Ashley. Dean Wallace is Brittany's side piece, by the way. Been hooking up for ages. That's why he covered up the heroine's death last time. His terrified Brittany's got an STI. My blood ran cold. So that's why Dean Wallace was so quick to condemn me. In the previous timeline, after my death, He and Brittany had spun a web of lies, painting me as a promiscuous, sexually depraved individual who deserved what she got. My parents, consumed by grief and public shame, had met tragic ends. This was their twisted plan. "Brittany," I said, my voice steady, despite the trembling in my hands. "You say you got a disease from wearing my clothes. Do you even know how STIs work? You get them from unprotected sexual activity, not from a pair of jeans." The comments confirmed my suspicions. Brittany's pristine image was a lie, she'd been sleeping around, and her encounter with Chad was just one of many. The sorority house was about to conduct mandatory health screenings, and she was terrified of being exposed and expelled. So, she was manufacturing this drama, making me the scapegoat. "My clothes are still neatly folded in my closet," I continued, my gaze fixed on her. "Are you saying my clothes grew legs, walked over to you, and deliberately gave you a disease?" Brittany's feigned weakness faltered for a second, then she regrouped, dissolving into fresh tears. Dean Wallace interjected, "Ashley, it's just a few articles of clothing. Your roommates. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Is it because you do have something to hide?" His protectiveness of Brittany was infuriatingly obvious. "What's your relationship with her, Dean Wallace?" I asked, a glint in my eye. He stammered, "We are, of course, student and faculty. I simply won't stand by while a student like Brittany is falsely accused." "And I'm your student too, aren't I?" I shot back. "Why aren't you defending me?" Brittany's sobs quieted, and she sniffled, eyes red-rimmed but defiant. "Ashley, you don't need to spread lies about me and Dean Wallace. I told you I borrowed your clothes because I had a friend's wedding and didn't have time to buy new ones. I even paid you, and you took the money." "You're lying," I shouted, the fury finally breaking through. "I didn't take any money from you." Brittany smirked, a cruel glint in her tear-filled eyes. "Oh, you say you didn't? Well, I don't have proof. You blocked me, remember? All our messages are gone." She held up her phone, feigning distress. The crowd began to murmur, their sympathy swinging back to Brittany. Then, a voice from the crowd, loud and clear. "Chloe, you're her roommate. Does Ashley bully Brittany often?" Chloe, one of my other roommates, stepped forward, her eyes avoiding mine. "Ashley, you've gone too far this time. Bullying Brittany is one thing, but intentionally giving her an STI? That's just sick." The comments flared. "The heroine is so screwed. Brittany clearly has blackmail on the other two. Now all three roommates are against her. This is bad." The whispers intensified, transforming into a chorus of condemnation. My face burned with shame and anger. Why isn't she fighting back? So stupid. What's the point? Once a woman's reputation is ruined, it's over. Heroine, don't be a doormat. Call the cops. Seriously, why do none of these characters ever call the police in these novels? I looked at the faces around me, some sneering, some disgusted, some just curious onlookers. I took a deep breath, and then, calmly, I spoke. Everything that has been said here today, every slander, every insult, every lie, I remember it all. My voice resonated through the hushed room. When the police arrive, none of you will get away with this. Do you truly believe that in a lawful society, you can harm someone without consequence? The crowd shifted, a ripple of unease spreading through them. They hadn't expected me to be so firm. Some of the more timid ones started to back away, realizing they might have overstepped. The most vocal accusers blanched, their eyes darting nervously between Brittany and Dean Wallace. Brittany, no longer fake crying, scoffed. "What's the big deal? Just a little roommate spat. Calling the cops. She has no proof. The law doesn't care about a few words. She's just trying to scare you." Dean Wallace chimed in. "Brittany's right. These are just honest opinions, not slander. Everyone knows what kind of person Ashley is. Even if the police come, the university won't side with her." The tension in the room eased slightly. Chloe and Taylor visibly relaxed. I slowly lifted my hand, revealing my phone, its screen glowing with the recording app. "I'm sorry to disappoint you all, I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. But I do have proof. It's all recorded, loud and clear. Let's see whose side the police take then. Brittany's and Dean Wallace's smiles froze. Their eyes widened in horror. A rush of vindication flooded me. Did you really think I wouldn't be prepared for people like you? I'm not that naive. Yes. Finally, a heroine who knows how to use her brain. Told you. Not everyone's a saint. Look at their faces. Priceless. Some people are running. Too late, it's all on tape. Brittany, a wild look in her eyes, lunged at me, snatching my phone and slamming it to the ground. It shattered into a dozen pieces. She laughed, a manic, triumphant sound. Proof. What proof? Go call the cops now, I dare you. Her face twisted, a raw, unhinged fury. It was clear then, she was truly dangerous. The kind of person who could push someone from a window for a perceived slight. With the evidence gone, her bravado soared. Dean Wallace, a slick-haired man with a perpetually concerned frown, began to pacify the hushed sorority house. He laid down the law, a thinly veiled threat disguised as a plea for discretion. Girls, this stays within these walls. Understand? Being the head of student affairs and a man in a room full of intimidated young women, his words carried weight. The Delta Gamma sisters, heads bowed, nodded in nervous agreement. I scoffed, pulling out a second phone, a sleek black model I'd stashed in my back pocket. Hey, all my loyal viewers on the live stream, I chirped, my voice ringing clear through the sudden silence of the house. You all heard that, right? When the cops get here, you're my witnesses. The sorority house erupted, but not with voices. Instead, the distinct sound of digital gifts exploding on my phone screen filled the air. The viewer count on my live stream skyrocketed. Comments scrolled furiously across the screen, a blur of supportive messages. Don't worry, sis, we got your back. Recording this whole thing. Everyone saw what that girl and the dean did. Yeah, this is college, not high school. Bullying. Seriously. Do they think the law is a joke? Med student here. That disease Brittany's talking about? 99% is sexually transmitted. From clothes. Ugh, what a clown. In this day and age, using that as an excuse. No science literacy whatsoever. Even the semi-transparent spoiler comments floating in midair above me paused, seemingly stunned. Whoa, this is good. Underestimated our protagonist. She's brilliant. Seriously, even calling the cops might not be as effective. Who knows if the university admin would cover for them? Go big or go home, girl. This is how you handle it. So brave. Brittany's and Dean Wallace's faces turned ashen. A sudden commotion erupted from behind them. Wallace. Brittany. What in the blazes is going on here? A furious voice roared. The cavalry had arrived. But seeing the grim expression on the university president's face, I knew my preemptive strike had been necessary. I'd anticipated this. After seeing the chilling spoilers, I'd prepared. Multiple phones, multiple livestream accounts, all hidden. Even if Brittany smashed one, the show would go on. I wasn't going to let myself be caught off guard again. Not long after, the campus police swarmed in. I immediately pointed out Brittany for theft. Sure enough, they found her fingerprints on my closet door, along with strands of her hair and skin cells on my clothes. Then, I systematically named everyone who had slandered and humiliated me. Dean Wallace, Chloe, Taylor, and a few others in the crowd. Panic flared through the accused. They stammered apologies, desperate to backtrack. Sorry isn't going to cut it, I stated, my voice devoid of emotion. If apologies fixed everything, we wouldn't need police. I refused their hollow regrets. Consequences were due. Those I'd named, realizing the gravity of their situation, turned their fury on Brittany. Brittany, you conniving little witch. You said Ashley gave you a disease, that she bullied you. It was all a lie. You screwed us over. A few hot-headed girls lunged, ready to physically assault Brittany. The officers barely intervened in time, but not before Brittany received a few stinging slaps across the face. Her cheeks reddened, and she shrieked back, "You fools! You're all so stupid. I cry a little, and you all believe me. You're just like those mindless internet trolls." She's evil, but she's not wrong. Some online folks are totally like that. Whoever cries loudest is right, no questions asked. The internet isn't lawless, but too many people act like it is. The yelling crowd was eventually escorted away for questioning. At my insistence, the police called in medical personnel to conduct tests on both Brittany and me. The results were swift and damning. I was clean. Brittany had an STI. Dean Wallace was also compelled to be tested, and his results matched hers. Their sordid affair was exposed for all to see. During my interview with the police, I finally learned Brittany's twisted motive. It was shockingly mundane, born of pure envy. Back during summer break, Brittany hadn't gone home. She'd picked up a part-time job near my house, so I'd invited her over for dinner, coinciding with my mom's birthday. That simple act of kindness had ignited a blazing resentment. "It's just not fair." Brittany had sobbed to the officers, her eyes blazing with hatred as she looked at me. "She has it all. I work myself to death, and it's not even as much as one of her meals. Why does her family spoil her, and mine just bleed me dry? I just couldn't stand that she was happier than me. If I'm miserable, I'm taking her down with me." Her eyes, filled with that same murderous intent I'd seen in the fleeting images of my fall, sent a shiver down my spine. My mom, usually gentle, wrapped her arms around me and glared at Brittany. "You sick, twisted girl. My daughter showed you kindness, and you turned out to be a venomous snake. You brought this on yourself." Brittany's parents, fearing her rage might turn on them, rushed forward and slapped her. "What is wrong with you? What is this nonsense you're spewing?" Watching her own parents berate her while mine protected me, Brittany's fury escalated. She was practically convulsing with rage. Her parents' insults are brutal. Serves her right for being so hateful. This kind of person is just twisted. A true sociopath. Even the police officers were speechless. The whole scandal exploded. It hit the local news and quickly became a national trending topic. The university, desperate to contain the fallout, ordered me to shut down the livestream, but it was too late. The sheer number of viewers ensured the story went viral, a wildfire of outrage they couldn't control. Brittany's false accusations, Dean Wallace's abuse of power, it all fueled the fury of online vigilantes. They rallied behind me, demanding justice. All relevant authorities launched investigations. It was graduation season, and universities were in their admissions phase. This scandal hit our school hard, enrollment numbers plummeting. The administration, reeling from the catastrophic PR nightmare, subtly suggested I issue a statement, portraying this as a personal dispute between Brittany and me, unrelated to the university. When I flat out refused, their demeanor shifted. "Ashley, this started because of you." It spiraled out of control, damaging the university's reputation. The vice president of student affairs warned, his voice laced with menace. "Getting into college isn't easy. We don't want to see your impulsiveness lead to irreversible consequences. Just agree to a settlement with Brittany, and the university will handle things fairly and transparently. If you continue to be so reckless, don't blame us for what happens next." They still want to cover for them, even after all this. Seriously, no good people around the heroine in this novel. Why do heroines always have to suffer so much? Even when they fight back, it's useless. What a crazy social experiment. The comments raged, but I felt no tension. Reckless? I countered, a challenge in my voice. "Are you threatening to expel me?" "If you don't cooperate, expulsion isn't out of the question," the vice president finished, just as a round of applause echoed from the doorway. "Bravo, Mr. Vice President," my dad applauded, striding into the office, 2 news reporters and a cameraman hot on his heels. The vice president blanched. I rolled my eyes internally. Seriously, Dad? I already had this handled. Given the spoilers, did they really think I'd just roll over and take it? I wasn't that stupid. The reporter, a local celebrity known for breaking major stories, had initially thought he was interviewing the university about the ongoing scandal. He'd stumbled upon something far more explosive. His cameraman had recorded every word of the vice president's veiled threats. The news broke, unstoppable. Public outrage soared, solidifying our university's infamy. But a new question gnawed at me. Why were the administrators so determined to protect Brittany and Dean Wallace? They weren't fools. The president himself had been furious when he stormed into the sorority house that day, yet there was no mention of disciplinary action against Brittany. Was there more to this? I glanced at the floating comments, but they offered no new spoilers. I decided to return to the sorority house, hoping to find a clue. The house was empty. Brittany's family had already picked her up for treatment. Chloe and Taylor were in class. Apparently, even after a viral scandal, you still had to attend lectures. They were probably facing a daily gauntlet of stares and whispers for their complicity. They'd thought cooperating with Brittany would keep her from leaking their private photos. The police investigation, however, had revealed Brittany had already distributed those photos. Dean Wallace's phone was apparently brimming with them too. Chloe and Taylor had broken down in tears at the police station, realizing they'd been played. Serving their own just deserts. Brittany's bed, directly opposite mine, was a mess. She'd left in such a hurry, many of her belongings were still there. Perfect. I cautiously searched through her things. No obvious smoking gun, though. As I replaced a pillow I'd flipped, I felt something tucked inside the pillowcase. I pulled it out. A tie. It looked familiar. I'd seen it before, but I couldn't place it. I snapped a quick photo, then put the tie back and left the sorority house. Outside, I passed Chloe and Taylor, their faces etched with a hesitant, apologetic expression. I walked straight past them, ignoring them. Some things couldn't be forgiven. To do so would be a disservice to myself. All the way home, I racked my brain. Where had I seen that tie? Passing the campus academic building, my gaze fell on the wall of fame with photos of prominent faculty. And then, it clicked. The tie belonged to the university president. The comments went wild. Our heroine figured it out. OMG, I can't breathe. This is too much. Too many words, got censored. Good thing the heroine's smart. They can't send it to her directly anyway. What did I miss? Brittany's online boyfriend was the freaking university president. No wonder she was so arrogant. My mind reeled. President Harrison. And he had another connection. He was Dean Wallace's uncle. Brittany, you truly amazed me. This revelation illuminated everything. The university's inconsistent attitude, their desperate cover-ups. Brittany must have blackmailed him, threatening to expose their affair if he didn't protect her. And it worked. Not only that, in the original timeline, after Brittany murdered me, President Harrison was involved in the cover-up. Without his power, a small-time dean like Wallace couldn't have hidden a murder. President Harrison was a tumor on the university, embroiled in embezzlement and illicit affairs. Heroine, write a letter to the authorities. Bring him down. The university's disciplinary decisions were yet to be announced, but the police statement came first. Brittany and the others were charged with defamation and public humiliation, receiving short jail sentences. The university, left with no choice, finally announced its findings. Brittany was expelled. Dean Wallace was fired. The other implicated students received severe warnings. I was surprised Brittany hadn't exposed President Harrison. Instead, she seemed to accept her punishment meekly. Then I saw her parents and younger brother. They were from a humble rural background, but they'd arrived in a brand new car, and her brother was decked out in designer clothes. Clearly, they'd been bought off. Brittany looked at her parents, a resentful, unwilling fire in her eyes, but she didn't fight back. As I passed them, I overheard her parents discussing something about making amends and a bride price for me. The university had offered me a guaranteed spot in a graduate program, but I declined. I wanted no part of their dirty money or their attempts to buy my silence. Some time later, my study abroad application was approved. As I completed the formalities at the university, I heard news of Chloe and Taylor. Their private photos, once exposed, had made them pariahs. Men harassed them, and they dropped out of school, ashamed. Brittany and Dean Wallace were also released, their offences not severe enough for lengthy sentences, just a few days in jail and a fine. As the dust settled, another scandal erupted, pushing the university back into the national spotlight. President Harrison was under internal investigation for disciplinary violations. Seeing the news, I knew my anonymous tip-off had worked. The news spread like wildfire, and netizens immediately connected the dots. If President Harrison isn't involved with that Brittany girl, I'll eat my hat. Disgusting. Even academia is rotten to the core. Is it Brittany who snitched on him? This university is truly a mess. I just want to know how the only victim is doing. Is she okay there? Seeing the outpouring of concern, I felt a flicker of warmth. Even in a messed up world, good people existed. Life always has an audience. Soon, I saw Brittany's face on the local news again. She'd married into a family in a neighboring county, but someone recognized her and informed her new husband about her past. The man, old-fashioned and furious, felt deceived. Brittany's parents had claimed she was a virgin, a college student, and it was all a lie. He demanded half of the bride price back. Dean Wallace, now homeless, was beaten senseless by President Harrison's furious relatives. The villains had met their own bitter ends. I was ready to start my new life abroad. As the plane took off, I saw them again, the glowing, floating comments, a presence I hadn't seen in a while. Our heroine is amazing. She got her own revenge and didn't let anyone mess with her. So satisfying. She's so brave. Hope all girls can be like her. A flurry of comments scrolled past. This time, I didn't stay silent. For the first time, I responded to the screen. Thanks, comment section, for the spoilers. And secret, I didn't actually reincarnate, you guys. I hope you can all get your revenge in real time too.
Yeah,